Welcome to Moss and Marriage. It's your boy, Dr. Deontay Moss, and
I am Dr. Crantel Moss.
And this is the Moss and Marriage Go Show. God oversees all love stories, and we got the Posies in the building. What's up?
Hello, hello.
Y'all good? You guys have been our friends for a long time. We love y'all. We happy to have y'all on the show.
Glad to be here.
Thanks for having us. We love you guys too.
We went to the Posey's wedding.
We did.
Remember, I fell in love with Krystle here.
Yeah.
And we went to your wedding.
Yes,
Yeah, you sure did.
That's my makeup for my wedding.
And you came up the steps late, and Bishop was like, "We about to start." What are you doing? First wedding almost started without the bride. The history of weddings.
How long y'all been married?
We're on 11 years right now.
11 years, same as
11
us.
years.
We knew that, but we know we got to say it out loud.
October 16, 2011.
Yes.
Okay, and we was November.
Yes.
Yep, so, yeah. I remember that day. It was a great day. Y'all looking great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I remember that day.
Thank you.
Yeah. Everybody don't have good weddings. Everybody do have good weddings.
That's true.
So crazy.
I'm just kidding. Your wedding was great. So, how did the Posies meet?
We actually met in Chicago. It was just by chance. I was in school at that time on Michigan Avenue, ran into this man. I was trying to get on the L, trying to get back home, and you know Wayne, smart mouth, funny. We went back and forth, exchanged information, and for about, a year? Every time you would come to town and stuff, he would hang with my friends. We just developed a friendship, and then before we knew it, we started dating, so.
Okay. Now, you're from Chicago.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
from Chicago.
yeah.
Yeah.
And where you from?
I'm from Toledo.
You from? Okay, I see it on the cross.
I wrote it right here for you. It's a cheat sheet.
I wrote it right.
I didn't write it necessarily.
Now,
I'm trying not to mumble too. It's probably not good for the podcast audience.
now I noticed.
So I was going to
Oh, he's
continue
gonna
actually.
continue.
Go ahead.
So we dated long distance for 4 years.
4 years.
4 years.
Long
So I was
distance.
traveling back and forth.
Yes.
I had to buy a new car. I didn't buy it. I leased it. And then I went over the mileage by like 20,000 miles.
You was going to
something
see that
else.
woman, huh?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I was
Wow.
going to see her. And then she moved here, and we dated for about another year, and then we got married.
How did you get her to move here?
We just decided that
It was
if we
time.
were gonna go any further, that we needed
We
to
needed
be in
to be in the same city. It was actually my father. My father was the one who basically said, like, you guys have been dating for 4 years back and forth. Like, every other month somebody's flying or driving or going back and forth. He's like, how are you guys supposed to know this is really going to work if you're not in the same city? So he was already established, in his career. Things were going really well, and I thought to myself, like, what do I have to lose? I can move. It's not a big deal. And if it doesn't work out,
I never saw
exactly.
I didn't know that part of the story. I didn't realize your dad kicked you out.
I didn't know
Your dad kicked you out. She had a plan.
Interesting.
Got him.
That's hilarious.
So y'all dated for like 4 years, 4 or 5 years before y'all got married.
About 5.
Yeah,
Okay.
almost 5 years, yeah.
We dated like 9 months.
Exclusively for 9
But I knew her. I knew her before.
Exclusive.
I met her when I was 12, but then we ended up meeting when we were in college.
Yeah.
Well, she was in college.
Where'd you meet when you
I
were
had
12?
dropped out and told her I was going to get my master's because she was like, I'm going to get my master's. I was like, me too. She said, where? I said, ooh, I didn't think my life. Where you going? Yeah. But she made me get it after that. So, yeah. So that's why I'm Dr. Moss today. But
It worked out.
yeah, it all worked out.
God did it.
God did it. Yeah, but y'all got so much going on, man.
Wait, I got a question though. I want to know, how did y'all know that we're onto something? Like, hey, yeah, you might.
Like, ooh, like.
I think he knew before I did, honestly.
Well, you got kicked out the house, right?
I think I was more of, I think we dated so long for us to really get to know each other. You know what I mean? In general, I'm just one of those people. I don't like to jump into anything without knowing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I think once it got to a point where it got so hard, every time we would see each other, you know, just being away from each other, I'm like, okay, yeah.
Aw.
She missed you.
She's like, I want to be in his skin.
I can't with you.
So, how did you know?
I just knew. It's just a feeling that I had. Like, I can't really explain like how I knew, but I just knew. I just knew.
Yeah.
I said I knew a lot of times there. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Did you know early?
I
Or was
did.
it
I
after
knew
learning?
probably after about a year that this is what was meant to be.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's what's up. Now, I've been, I follow y'all on social media. Now, I've been seeing you guys been all in my timeline. Y'all done graduated 20, 50, 11 times, doing y'all thing, you know what I'm saying? What's these new credentials and accolades I'm seeing all over the social media?
So I just graduated from RN school to be a nurse. So I want to say about, 2 years ago I entered into the program. But me doing this, I've been wanting to do it for almost about 5 years. But, you know, it's never been the right time. You know what I mean? Life happens, you're working, you get comfortable with that money. We also have children. So, you know, doing that transition with young kids can be a little difficult. But, you know, with the industry that I was in changing, the pandemic, I was like, okay, let's go for it. We had that discussion, and he was so supportive. He's like, what do you have to lose? You know? So.
YOLO.
That's what's up.
Yeah, so the pandemic actually was a blessing. Like it pushed, like she said, she'd been thinking about it for 5 years, and then the pandemic came. We saw the instability in like the retail market because she got furloughed for, I think it was like 12 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So that was 12 weeks, or actually about 6 of those weeks, her income wasn't even coming in because the state of Ohio was so backed up with like unemployment claims.
Yeah.
So we were like, man, you need a more recession-proof job. So that's when, the opportunity presented itself for her to go back to nursing school, and, without, with the kids being home, like it was a lot easier than trying to like manage daycare and all that kind of stuff. So, it was actually a blessing that came out of the pandemic was for her to
that I definitely needed.
get that push.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
I'm glad y'all rich because that could have been a tough time for anybody else. These are rich friends. You know what I'm saying? I know that they got nice things. And they always invite us over and we like, ooh, that's nice. Yeah. I see y'all spend thousands of dollars on luggage on vacation.
Oh my goodness. Using Kroger bag.
Coupons. Save those coins, you guys.
Using Kroger bag just like y'all.
Don't get on coupon and she go fetch, oh my
Fetch
God.
rewards is my thing. But so let's talk about a little bit of y'all process and y'all journey, because we have been blessed to get to see y'all build y'all life, literally. So we came to y'all wedding and it was just you and Wayne, Krystle and Wayne. And then before we know it, y'all have 2 kids now and a whole new home. We've actually...
we done been to multiple, y'all. We done been to all the
That's
houses.
the transition.
Yeah.
Like, that's dope. Tell us about it. Share what y'all want to share. Or what that
You
process
can
looks
start.
So we started off, like I forgot to mention, like one of the big drivers for like us actually walking down the aisle was my grandmother. She's like, you dating that girl? She's like, you need to make her an honest woman and this, that, and that. Like literally, she literally told me I picked her up for church one day. Because my aunt couldn't pick her up. Like, it was one of the very few times my Aunt Vivian couldn't pick her up. I pick up my grandmother, and she gets in the car. She's like, you need to make that girl an honest woman. you won't believe how God will bless you when you make her an honest woman. I'm like, okay, Grandma, get out the car. Get out the car. But it stuck with me. And, through, what was it? It was probably 3 or 4 months later, we found out she was pregnant. And that's when we decided, yes, we need to make this happen. So we had a small wedding after church on a Sunday. And since then, and actually, after the wedding, I think it was before the wedding, we found out that she had a miscarriage. But we still, we knew that we were on the right path. So we went ahead with the wedding, and like you guys have said, since then, it's just been step by step by step. We've seen God's hand, places that we shouldn't be or shouldn't have been. We've been. I've sat in a room with Fortune 500 CEOs that I had no business being in a room with. But God has just been there every step of the way, and even with our especially with our marriage, going from one home, in a bad area of town, going to an apartment, going to a townhouse, and now where we live, it's just been it's been God, honestly.
And one thing that I can say with that process, we always kept God first. I think we always knew that if we were being faithful and honoring Him, that we were already covered. Everything would, fall into place. But just trusting Him and trusting the process. But I think one thing that really helped is, we had that discussion before we got married. We knew what we wanted to do, and we knew that in order for us to get to certain levels, there's going to have to be sacrifices that we make. And we had to prove that we can handle what is given to us. That way, that increase can come too. So,
So what does putting God first look like in marriage?
You want to answer that, or we can?
You go first.
All right. So, honestly, to me, that's even just okay. I'm going to use something as simple as, joining two incomes. You know what I mean? And you being faithful, and you're tithing, and you're honoring God. We all know at times things can be really tight, and you're making those decisions of, do I give? Or do I pay these bills? You know what I mean? It's about us giving and us both honoring that and knowing what we're supposed to do. That's us, you stand in your word, and also having those candid conversations with each other, you know what I mean? And holding each other accountable, you know what I mean? It can be tough at times, but with him being in the center, when you out of order, you know what I mean? And having that partner that can say, hey, you out of pocket. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I agree. Just making sure, having God at the center, whether that be prayer life, that be, your finances, just making sure that you are honoring Him and, making Him the center of the marriage.
Finances is always a big thing in marriage. Who does the finances, or do y'all do it together? How does your finances work?
It actually has just shifted a little bit. I think both of us have more been involved with it, but prior I would just take the reins and boom, 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 you know what I mean? I'm learning how to step back and just letting us both be involved in that process. One thing that really stood out over the last 2 years for me is that, there's been a lot of loss, just across the nation, the world, and I think it's affected everybody personally. My biggest fear is that something happens to me and he doesn't know where things are, or he doesn't, you know what I mean? He doesn't know how things were maneuvered or where this is at. I want him to be involved in the whole process, just like I know he wants me to be involved in, what's going on.
Yeah. But that's what works for y'all. Yeah. I was in charge for like a year. We've been married 11 years, but she's been on top of it for the last decade because she was going to leave me because I kept messing up.
And it's hard too when you're used to taking, you know what I mean? If you're used to doing it, trying to involve another person and kind of letting that control go, because I'm like that. I'm like, okay, well, I got it all planned out. This is how we gonna do it. But I feel like it works it does work better when he's involved and he gets to see, what's going on. And I can say, oh, this is the end game. This what we got to do to get there. So,
And I love every moment of it.
So sound so excited about money conversation.
It's the best.
Yeah, not at all.
So was it a process to find something that works? And have you found that it changes in different seasons? Or were you guys able to?
It definitely changes with the seasons. You know, it looks a lot different from when it was just us before the kids compared to, you know, having the kiddos in the pictures, you know, activities, school fees, whatever they want to do. So I feel like it definitely changes with the season and you have to pivot. I feel like we've been so blessed that even, you know, over the last 2 years when, you know, I didn't have that income, we've still been able to not miss a beat, not skip a beat. So, yeah.
So I wanted to kind of touch on how you had uprooted your life in some ways and came to Toledo. So talk about that experience. What were some of the emotions you may have experienced, Wayne? How did you try to help her adjust? What are some things that any couple who, a wife or a husband, a spouse, maybe leaving their hometown to come in, you know, join forces with their...
One thing that I feel really helped out is the fact that we courted for so long, we dated for so long, is that we really got to know each other's family and friends. So when I got here, the transition wasn't as jolting as you would think it would be. You know, I knew his family, they welcomed me, I knew his friends, I knew his church family, you know what I mean? So I was a familiar face in a sense, you know what I mean? Just getting used to the city, though, was the hardest part for me. Coming from a bigger city, it was an adjustment. It's grown on me. I love the fact that I can get wherever I need to be in like 20, 25 minutes. You know what I mean? I'm not sitting in, you know, rush hour traffic. I didn't win a mile and I've been sitting here for an hour. But just getting adjusted to that. And, you know, I'm not too far away from home anyway. So, you know, I get to see friends, family, you know, FaceTime, we'll get on the highway and, you know, but I think because his family was so welcoming, they treated me like I was their own. You know what I mean? That when I moved here, I didn't feel like, oh, I'm alone. I'm just here with, you know, my boyfriend. Yeah. You know, I have this whole family. I have a whole community that's here to support me too.
Yeah. So like my wife said during while we were courting, I thought that it was like important to like make sure that, you know, she had her own identity. Like she wasn't just my girlfriend or my fiance or whatever, that she was Krystle. And you know, I tried my best to like make sure that she got to be her and not just like an appendage to me. So
even though people tried to make me an appendage, I'm just saying. Anyway.
Yeah, you definitely found your way. Doing hair, makeup, you did a little bit of everything.
yeah, so that was an important part.
Yeah, that's a good feeling to have when family can embrace someone.
For sure.
Because I know that's been a lot of our situation. I know your like Ted family just like took me in and just made me just like one of them from day one, and I've always enjoyed that, especially being a foster kid and coming from abandonment and all kind of stuff. So that was like, oh, like that helped a lot. I was like, well, I do like her. I like her family. I can't leave them. I guess I gotta be with her.
I gotta be her.
I love her mama. I don't like her sometimes. I love her mama.
But her mama, me and her mama used to hang out like literally.
He would be at my mom's house without me. Like,
Yeah, kicking it, barbecuing, everything. Like, having fun. I love
call
my
him like,
wife.
where you at? I'm at your mama's house. What? It's dope though. Like that's dope.
It is. I'm starting to think I'm one of her favorite kids.
And he say that
Her
to
favorite.
her kids.
Love my Wanda. Yeah.
Hilarious. Another question which kind of ties into what Moss just said. How do y'all feel upbringing impacts marriage?
I think that like both of us having like a strong like Christian upbringing was very important, like because we're able to see eye to eye when it comes to like faith and
Like
you know,
evenly yoked.
right, evenly yoked. Yeah, I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to throw out my I didn't want to throw out my credentials. But yeah, like being evenly yoked and you know, both having that strong foundation, which Christ is a strong foundation. Being able to share that is very important.
Yeah.
I mean, because we were raised, like, as far as like upbringing, we were raised totally kind of different.
Yeah.
Kind of the same, but different. Like,
What do they say? Opposites attract.
right. Like, growing up, I didn't have a lot of the luxuries and niceties that she had.
Oh,
So you was bougie.
Shenanigans.
So like, we were different in that way, but we both had Christ as the foundation, which that levels the playing field right there. So.
And one thing that I think plays a big role, and you don't realize it until you get into a situation, you get into a marriage. Those examples that you see, we have parents that have been married for years. You know what I mean? And I know
grandparents that were married. Her
and
grandparents.
grandparents. Yep, your grandparents too. Actually,
it's over 60.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah, my
wow.
grandparents are almost in their they're almost 90, so it's been almost about 70 years.
They've been married that long?
Yeah, almost.
We
Yeah.
That's
gotta
amazing.
talk to them.
Yeah.
They were at the party, matter of fact. Yeah. Just seeing those examples, you don't realize how it plays a role and it affects you. I mean, initially I was the type, I didn't want to be married. I didn't think that was my path. But then you turn around, you get married, you meet somebody, and I'm like, I've had these examples throughout my whole life. You know what I mean? Of what a relationship is, and especially having Christ in the center of that relationship and how this should be. So.
That's one of the reasons why we started this platform, because when we got married, it was not really a lot of people in our family married. So we instantly became like this example of marriage just because we were married. And they were like, well, what about this about marriage? And we like, we don't know.
We started.
We don't
We
know.
just
We
started.
figure it out. Google marriage. You know what I'm saying? We try to figure it out ourselves. So
Google, how do you be married?
Right.
You don't know? We don't either.
So
Figure this
I
out
think that's why
together.
we jumped in and started looking for resources, skills, tools, and challenges, all this stuff to figure out what marriage was, because we really wanted to be married and we wanted to be married right. So, and all we really do is just share what we learned with other people. And it's created the platform, but I understand that
awesome.
what you're saying.
And that you're always learning, right, in marriage. Like,
That's one of her. You always say that.
Continuous education, for sure.
Definitely.
And we always changing. So
Right.
Yes.
So we always.
As you grow older, as family situations change, and like life happens, and it affects your marriage, so it's continually.
Yeah, I like to think I'm a grown man now. I was a grown man then, but I was a foster kid too. That was my thing, because like we talked about upbringing, right? And that's one of the reasons why the finances and stuff, because I was raised in foster care, right? So when I was raised in foster care, I was awarded at the state. So when I had I had 3 meals a day, you know what I'm saying? I had like vouchers for clothes, and then I went to college right after that, and then they paid for my school and stuff like that. So I always kind of had like stuff set up for me. So when I got with Ted like, okay, it's time, we got to do this, and I'm like, hold on, I'm a foster kid.
Like I'm used to it. Taking care of me.
People take care of me, excuse me, I'm awarded of the state. Everything's gonna work out fine. There's commercials for us. I don't have to. I'm different. My parents work there. They take care of us. And she's like, no, we gotta take care of this. I'm like, well, can't you do something? Can't you come? Ain't there a grant? Isn't there a grant we can use or something like?
We don't qualify for a voucher.
Yeah, the rule is, I'm supposed to get 3 meals a day. You know what I'm saying? So she like, I'm like, oh man, I had to figure it out quickly.
You are hilarious. So, next question. Just go ahead and share any tips or tools you guys feel like you've learned along your journey.
For me personally, I didn't realize that I wasn't a strong communicator with my husband. So that's something that I'm constantly working on. I have to work at every day. I have this tendency of thinking that he can read my mind, or you know what I mean? So communication is key. And sometimes it's going to be conversations that are tough, but this is your partner. This is who you're with. This is who you love. If you can't be open and honest with them,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who can you be? So, yeah. You agree? Yeah, I know.
One of the biggest lessons that I've learned was actually told us on our wedding day. Excuse me. When Bishop was in the pulpit, and she said, "Don't talk bad about your spouse to your family," and like that's something that stuck with me because we'll get over it, but if I'm talking bad about her, sorry, to my mom, my dad, my family members, like they don't get over it as easy as I will.
Yeah.
So I've always kept that approach. Like nobody in my family knows any of our arguments. They don't know any of our problems because that's something that I've guarded and guarded her integrity and her reputation. Just because like if we have an argument, like I said before, we'll get over it, but they might not. So just keeping that stuff that belongs in our house.
Yeah.
Like, that's a major thing.
And I think that even helps with the relationship of our families. Our families get along so well because that's one thing we do. We guard each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not gonna like your spouse every day. You know what I mean? Y'all gonna have y'all spats, but being able to gatekeep and know that this is between us and we've made a commitment to each other, no matter what's going on, that we're gonna communicate and work this out. So I can be mad at you and not talk to you for the next hour or two. What sense does it make me calling mama, daddy, cousin, everybody else? Because after that hour, I'm cool. We done made up, but they gonna remember. And now he, and then it's gonna be,
Yeah, like that's very, very true. Like that's an important part. It's like guarding those things. Like I can talk bad about her to her, but you're not gonna talk bad about her.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I done seen it destroy a lot of, get in between a lot of relationships.
right, and people like on social media and like you make a post that obviously is about your spouse or significant
Who else
other.
you gonna be
like,
talking about? Yeah.
like everybody knows. Like that's just silly.
Yeah.
Keep that stuff in your home, work it out, and move on.
and that's part of your marriage. You covering each other. You know what I mean? You being able to cover each other and protect each other. I know anything that go down, this man got me. He's covering me. You know what I mean? My name will never be dragged in the mud in the street. You know what I mean? I think people forget that nowadays. Just in general, just you say you love me, you say you cherish me, but when you're mad, your actions betray you. Your actions show me that you don't love me, you don't honor me. Because even in those emotions, when you're upset, you're angry, you should still show me that you love me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Through that protection. So.
There should be some limits to what you
Oh,
would do because of
definitely.
love and your love for me.
Definitely. But so many of us in general, we just throw that out the window. We'll get upset and we'll treat your spouse, your loved one, your mama and daddy like they somebody on the street. And we shouldn't even treat somebody on the street like that. We should be operating in love at all times.
Yeah. That's especially with each other if y'all supposed to be one. That's powerful. Yeah.
Come on.
I seen what was I had read something where they was talking about how we'll treat people at our job or even our boss better than we treat our spouse.
Sure.
Like, you had never cussed in front of your spouse or, in front of your boss or nothing. You show up on time, all kind of stuff, but you won't give the same respect sometimes to our spouse because they know everything about us. But I was reading something like that. Yeah.
Or even grace.
Mm-hmm.
Like your boss could correct you. There's been times where bosses don't do it the right way, and yet you give them grace. But your spouse, a lot of times, people have a hard time showing that same love and grace to, their spouse. I heard you mention social media, so, which kind of just, not necessarily social media, but this question just kind of, what do you think some of the challenges are for married people today? I know a lot of people say social media, but anything else or even social media?
I think one of the challenges does kind of arise from social media still is like, you always think that the grass is greener, like people are doing better. Like you see facades of marriages, like, and you see like, oh man, they're doing it up, they're doing this, they're doing that and the other. But you don't really know what's behind those pictures, those posts. You know,
absolutely.
so I think that sometimes you get a false impression of what marriage and what family life looks like based on like what you see on social media, as opposed to what's actually happening, the nitty gritty, the work that it takes to, you know, to get there. And like a lot of people are like, oh, I want to be married, because they see these images, but they don't understand the work that it takes to maintain it.
Or know what go on behind the scenes.
Right.
You just like, oh, I just love Bobby and Whitney.
Right. That's awesome. That's like, I mean, that's just like driving down the street, you see a house, like before, like this ties into it, like before we bought a house, like I was driving like, man, I want a house on a lot with mature trees, you know, big trees, nice. But then once I got the house, like those leaves fall off every fall.
Hey,
And I gotta go out there and I gotta clean them up. So it takes work to maintain that. It looks nice, but it takes work to maintain
That's
it.
all I wanted.
Right. But you know, them 11 trees, they lose their leaves every year. So I have to go out there and clean them up and work and maintain. And that's the same thing with a marriage. Like for it to look nice, it's gonna look nice, but you have to keep working and keep maintaining it.
I think nowadays, and don't get me wrong, I think there should be some level of transparency, but everybody doesn't need to know everything. You know what I mean? I think we live in a society, especially when it comes to marriages at times, where people will just tell everything under the sun and overshare. And especially when it comes to your spouse, certain things are sacred. Certain things I feel stay between you two. You know what I mean? You're in this relationship. And don't get me wrong, yes, you can share to help other people, edify other people, help them do it. But I just think we're just to a point where people just overshare and you're just like, goodness, you done told all
everything.
your business. Do he know? Do she know? Like, do your spouse know? You done told everybody but them. So.
Now, I know y'all like to vacation a lot, right? Because we don't go a few vacations together.
It's been a couple of years with the school and the kids.
And through the pandemic and stuff.
Yes, we do like the vacation.
Yeah, we used to do a lot of vacationing. Do y'all got any like favorite vacation spots y'all ever been to or anything like that? Or a place y'all want to go or y'all be in or something?
I personally like New Orleans. I've had a
Orleans.
blast. And then when we went to Aruba, I loved Aruba. I was just saying today I would love to go to Ghana next year. Yeah,
Africa. Ooh, I want to go to Africa too.
Yeah,
I do.
definitely.
For me, Atlanta has a special place. Like, every time I go there, like it's a blast.
Yes. Atlanta was fun. Yes.
I mean, because I used to travel there for work a lot. So I used to work. I used to work with companies in Atlanta, and I would travel there. So like I loved it from that perspective. And then when I had a chance to go there with my family and friends, it was like even better. So
New memories.
Oh man, we got some classic memories in Atlanta.
Classic.
And so, you guys kind of touched on the transparency piece, and then also just people thinking what they see is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on not the concept of don't do marriage alone?
I definitely think that you can't do it alone, but you got to make sure that you have couples that have the same values as you. There's no way you're going to be married being able to have conversations with a single. You get what I'm saying? You need to have a couple that, for us, that loves God, that puts their marriage first and understands what that covenant means. You know what I mean? That's not ready to just run out the door at the first argument, and they can encourage you. You don't have to tell, spill your guts and tell all your business, but I think when you have people around you who are married, and even having older couples that can encourage you, that can, even just being transparent about that journey and them telling you, every day is not going to be, all smiles and bubbles and, you know what I mean? You're going to have to put that work in. I think it definitely makes a difference because if you don't have that support and you don't have those examples, I think that's where you can get in trouble, where you don't see that and you start to feel like, maybe I'm alone, or am I going, you know what I mean? Like,
is this right?
Right?
Is this
Yeah.
normal?
Exactly.
I don't think I'm being treated fairly here. Like, girl.
Yeah. And I'm glad you just said that. Tay, you need married couples too that is gonna hold you accountable. You tripping?
Definitely.
Did you hear yourself?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
Like, that made sense to you?
Yeah, that always good.
I'm going to repeat what you just said to you.
Right.
Yeah, that's why all my married friends is way older than me, and I'm the youngest, because I always get a lot of wisdom from them, you know. That's why I'm always the youngest, you know, because my wife's a cougar, and, you know, and all y'all way older than me, so.
And I agree with her on on the concept of, you know, like, of not doing marriage alone, the base, like, let me start over. I agree with her on what she said about not doing marriage alone, because you need couples that are going to, like, challenge you on some of your stuff, but also, you know, sometimes you just need a sounding board. Like, sometimes you just need somebody who's going through the same thing to be able to, you know, just share with.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be like, you know, a male sharing with like all the wives in the group, but like the husbands get together and, you know, just have a session where they just kind of talk and, you know, go over things that are happening in life.
Yeah. And just
But I
connect.
think that's helpful. Like,
Oh, it definitely is.
so.
That's why I love what we do when we all get together, and we basically do what we're doing here now.
we do.
Right.
So, you know, our audience just get to chime in, but it's always just so real and so genuine. You can let your hair down.
Yeah.
A safe
Right.
space to have real conversations.
Right.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I just love y'all example. Now, tell us about the kids. How old is the kids now?
3 and 7.
3 and 7?
Yes.
And
Yes.
What they got going on?
Everything.
Because they're actually absolutely geniuses.
They keep us going, you know, with the activities and stuff. And I can say that's been a shift in our marriage. You know, having kids, you get used to prior to the kids getting up and moving the way you want to. You can be like, oh, let's hop in the car and go this weekend or get a flight. And now it's more of you slowing down, but us just really trying to juggle schedules and making sure they have what they need. And yeah.
It's an adjustment,
Yeah.
for sure.
They keep us going now. You know, good kids, really good kids. But it's just funny, you know, you don't think initially, you know, I don't think I thought about this in marriage, like the kids portion, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, my husband. But then kids come and you see that shift. And one thing we've been told, you know, from other couples who have adult children, they're like, oh, in a couple of years, once they hit that teenage and when they're young adults, it's going to shift again. You know what I mean? So, you know, we're just enjoying every phase, trying to enjoy those kids being little, because it's flying already.
Okay.
You know, I know for me personally, some days I feel like we just came home with our oldest. You know what I mean? And already, you know, watching him actually over the weekend walk to the microwave and program in the microwave, and I'm like,
Wow.
you're tall enough to reach the microwave.
And program it.
Yeah.
I still don't
just
know how to program a microwave.
Big flashes here on.
Yeah. I'm a foster kid. They do it for me.
Taya! How does it work?
What's this program?
For some reason, it's zapping. Put the Arby's wrapper in there.
A fork. Oh, it's not supposed to go in there.
That was my first fire.
You did that before?
I put an Arby's sandwich in the microwave, walked away, came back. Opened up the thing, the foil was on fire.
Oh my God.
Why would
It was
they
like
even
probably
give you?
15 seconds.
Why would a rapper even have stuff that you can't microwave? Like,
They expect you to eat it right then.
Do they still have foil wrappers? Oh, I don't eat Arby's. That's probably. That's why.
yeah, because you almost blew up your house.
Oh yeah. Microwave still worked after that, but it was.
Did you eat it still?
I don't remember. Probably.
Okay. So, last question. Anything you would want to leave for married couples? Want any married couples or any couples who's thinking about marriage to know? Word of wisdom. Your last word of wisdom.
I think we've kind of dropped quite a few already. one thing that I would say, because I know there's two different camps of, oh, you know, hurry up, get married, you know, type of thing. I would say take your time, get to know who you're really with, and don't be afraid to ask those tough questions right away. You know what I mean?
Ask them questions. Yeah,
ask
definitely.
those questions, get to know this person, because, you know, you get in it.
Yeah, don't be trying to figure out stuff after.
Exactly. Have
Yeah.
those questions, you know, those conversations right away. Really take your time. It's okay to get to know this person.
Yeah, and the questions that come to your mind too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, your mama, your daddy, do you know him? You cool with him? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. How many, you know, all those questions, whatever come to your head, answer them,
I would add that make sure that you're getting into a partnership and not really, don't get into a project. Like, don't think that you can change somebody or mold somebody, because most of the time that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't work. So make sure that it's a partnership and that, you know, you got somebody that's willing to work on the other side. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's not 50-50, it's 100-100
Mm-hmm.
and 100 with God.
Yeah.
So,
That part.
like, man, so just make sure that, you know, you're both all in and that you're working together, rowing together, and growing together.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Powerful.
Well, that's the Posies. Well, I definitely appreciate y'all being on the show, giving us,
sure.
dropping them
Thanks
gems
for having
like y'all always
us.
do.
For sure.
These are rich friends. Yeah. So that's the Moss and Marriage Show, Moss and Marriage Gold Show. We got the Posies. I'm Dr. Deontay Moss,
I'm Dr. Crantel Moss.
and we include God in everything we do, and that's Moss and Marriage. Until next time.
All right, be blessed, people.